This video, we're going to be talking about determining link quality using a tool called SEMrush. Now, this is by far my favorite link building tool because, I personally believe that links that drive traffic drive ranking power. Everything else falls in comparison again because search engines crawl from website to website through links. It's easy for them to measure how much traffic gets passed through a link. Measures like domain authority, trust flow, these are third-party metrics from vendors that are just trying to make profit and money. These are not Google or Yahoo or Bing's metrics, right? They crawl from website to website through links. So, you know, it's troublesome when you start looking at new sites that are actively marketing themselves hard through social media, which is incredibly important because it's going to have a domain authority and a trust flow of less than 5, which to traditional SEO metrics tells you that it's a bad link. However, just from a straight business point of view, if a link is going to drive traffic and it's good traffic, I mean, that's why we're doing link building for Google rankings anyways, is to drive traffic. So the tool that I use to check for potential traffic is SEMrush. Now it's semrush.com. You're going to need a subscription. If you're on my team, just ask me for the login. I'll get you one. It's really, really easy to use. All you're going to do is you're going to take the URL in question, and when you log into SEMrush, you just paste it up here, and then you're going to click on Organic Research on the left-hand side. Now, there's a couple of things that we want to look at to determine the quality. The first thing we want to look at is how many keywords that website is ranking for and how much traffic that website has and the cost of that traffic. So basically what this tells us is how many keywords that this website magpress.com is ranking for in Google right now. So it's ranking for 1.2 thousand keywords, and the cost of that traffic is $3,300. Now, the way that that cost is associated is how much it costs to pay for that traffic from Google AdWords, right? So, if it's ranking for 1,200 keywords, you figure each of those keywords is probably worth just a couple of cents. So the cost of this traffic is actually relatively low. However, that's not overly important. Basically, the more keywords, the more traffic, and the higher the cost, the better. Again, if the potential link that we can get on this site will drive traffic, it will drive rankings. So again, we can tell that it will drive traffic the higher the keywords that it's ranking for and the more the traffic that it has. Now, again, the second thing we're going to look at is the chart to the right. And I'm going to show you this live in SEMrush very shortly, so don't worry. But we want to make sure that the history of the domain is clean. So what this chart shows is traffic or keyword rankings over time. So you can see here from January 10 to March of or August of 2015 what happened. So you can see here a huge spike in 2012 and then a plummet. So this is actually a bad sign. This is the same site. This is magpress.com. So it's showing you now that it's ranking for 1,200 keywords, but it had a big crash in the past. So what this tells us is that this domain is potentially toxic, right? That it was probably penalized for doing some shady shit in the past. So that's going to play into the quality of the domain, determining quality. A good sign is when a website is actively marketing itself and it goes up and to the right. So you can just see the difference between these two right here. This is magpress.com. The history, you see the plummet. This is actually my site right here. You can see the up and to the right curve. This shows that my site is actively gaining traffic. It's actively marketing itself. It's a very, very good link that we want. And we want to place these towards the top of the targets for link outreach because they're going to have the most impact on our rankings. Now, so if a website has low traffic or shows the traffic drops, we still want to work with them. Okay, so let me reiterate that. Even if a website has low traffic or shows signs of traffic drops, we still want to work with them. However, we want to note that the website quality is a little bit lower so we can prioritize outreach efforts. We want to target the best sites first and try and land those links first, and then on down the line, we'll target the lower quality ones and land those too. So we want to make sure that we're targeting the high ones first. So let me show you how we do that. In our link tracking book, which I'm going to walk you through in the next module, there is in the link opportunities tab, there is a section called tag. You can see it right here, right? So basically what we do is we assign a tag between 1 and 5. 1 is the lowest, which signifies the link is not as powerful. 5 is the highest, which signify the link is powerful, and we want to target it first, okay? So again, 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest, and those numbers are determined based on the link quality from what we see in SEMrush. Now let me show you how to determine that real quick. So take this chart and apply it to SEMrush, right? So actually, let me go ahead and jump into a live example here. I've got SEMrush open right here. So again, let me just run you through this tool real quick. So when you log into SEMrush, you're going to come to this screen. All you got to do is put in or paste. So I'm just going to put in my URL here. Just type it in and click search. Then, you're going to get the screen here. It's got a bunch of stuff. You're going to click on the left-hand tab, this little drop down where it says organic research, and then just click on positions. Okay, so again, this is that slide that I showed you, remember, that has the keywords that it's ranking for, the amount of traffic, and the traffic cost. And then over here to the right is that graph that I was talking about, right? This is the exact same one that I showed you of the traffic going up over time. So let me actually run you through a couple of more different sites here with different variances on the power of the site so you can really understand what we're looking at here. So here's one called thegreendirectory.com, and over here on organic we click on positions, and you can see it's ranking for 5 keywords, and actually if you scroll down you can see what those keywords are, but it's got 0 for traffic and $0 for traffic costs, right? So this is a very, very weak site. Right off the bat we already know this is going to be low priority because the site is pretty much dead. It doesn't really have a whole lot of interest to it. So you can actually see here from the chart that it has no history. So this one right off the bat, we already know. I'll run you through. So we would assign this one a 1, right? Sorry, I jumped around a little bit here, but looking at this here, so let me just show you both screens at once here. So so we would assign this one a tag of a 1 because when you're looking at the keywords, if it's ranking between 0 and 20 keywords, if the traffic is between 0 and 20, and the cost is between $0 and $100, which all this stuff is, we give the site a tag for a 1. So in our link building book, I can show you right here. So here is the outreach tab. Let's say we're doing it for this site. We don't have the tags in this one. But sorry, shitty example, guys. But anyways, you get the point, right? So it would be a guest blog post here. We would tag this one as a 1, but we would still record it. We would still record as an opportunity, but we would just tag it as a 1, so we would know that this would be a lower quality site and we would push towards the end. Let's look at another example here. So this is axiomlearning.com. And we can see here, let's click on the positions. So organic research positions, got the URL up here. And what we can see here, as soon as this thing loads, so this one's ranking for 245 keywords with a traffic of 36 and a dollar cost of $94. But what you can see here is the site is actively marketing itself and it's going up, it's working hard. So let's come over here back to the chart and take a look where this one falls. So keywords between 20 and 100, traffic between 20 and 100, cost between $100 and $1,000. And in the graph, a history of drop traffic, we would drop it down. So we would tag this one as a 2 because you can see it's got 245 keywords, so it's in this range between 20 and 100. The traffic is between 20 and 100, 36. The keywords are actually above 100, but when you look at the whole thing in aggregate, so the keywords are above, but the traffic is in this range. The cost is lower than this, right? So we would just kind of average this out, and we would tag this one as a 2, okay? So I hope you're starting to see how this works. Let's look at another one. This one is magpress.com. This is from the example. So type it in here, click search, come over here to positions. Now what we can see here, this is the one with 1,200 keywords ranking, 1,100 traffic, and traffic cost of $3,300. So let's run it over here by the chart to see what we would assign this one a tag of. So 1.2 keywords, so this would be in the 3 range. Traffic at 1.1, this would be in the 3 range. Traffic cost would also be in the 3 range. However, you can see here that I like my 3s to have no history of drop traffic. And when we look at the graph, excuse me guys, sorry, long day. You can see the massive drop off in traffic here in January 2012. So even though all of these stats here fall into the 3 tag, I would actually tag this one as a 2 because it's got a history of dropped traffic. So I'm really hoping you're starting to see how this works here. Let's go ahead and look at my domain. So I typed it in and went to positions over here. So 2,100 keywords ranking, traffic of 655, traffic cost of 6.8K. So let's see where we fall. The keywords is in the 4 range. Traffic is actually in the 2 range, but the traffic cost is way up here in the 4 range as well. And again, when you look at the graph over here, you just see a massive explosion of traffic. This one is definitely a 4, right? So even though the traffic is a little bit lower, the keywords that it's ranking for and the cost of those keywords plus the clean history, to me, this is a 4, okay? Let's look at one more example. This is a big, powerful site. This is called Moz.com. So again, type in the URL, click search, come over here to positions, and let's check it out. This one is ranking for 141,000 keywords, 186K for traffic, and $850,000 of cost of traffic. Let's look at the graph. Has a slight fall off and a big fall off in 2014, but it's rebounded. And I also know that because of the power of this domain, it's a very good site. So this one's just a 5 all the way through. You can just see, you know, the stats here. 141,000 keywords, just way above all this stuff. It's clearly a 5. So that is how we use SEMrush to tag these keywords. Again, you know, in another video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this, our link tracker here. But it's really straightforward. You know, if we're tagging these for guest blogs, you know, you just put the tag between 1 and 5 here, and then just record the rest of it. Again, you know, we want to work with all sites as long as they're clean sites. It doesn't really matter. Let me just run you through the last slide here so you can see it. Damn it. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. So just to run you through this chart again, I mean, all you're doing is you're taking these associated tags and you're going to record them in the link book tracker based on what goes into SEMrush. So this is really how we prioritize our efforts in terms of which links to build first and which ones to focus more effort and more resources on. Also, we're going to use these tags to assign a writer if we're doing guest blogging. So, you know, if a site is tagged as a 5, it's going to be a lot harder to get content on that site as opposed to tagged to a 1, because a 5 is just a much more quality site, right? Think of this as like a Huffington Post, and this is like your neighborhood, you know, down the street blog, right? So, you know, the 5 is going to have to be assigned to a very, very talented writer, which we're going to have to pay more for. However, we know this ahead of time, and we'll be able to maximize the time spent on this. We'll really minimize the time spent on the campaign because we'll be able to look at this opportunity. We'll say, okay, this is Moz.com. This is the 5. We're going to need a great writer to get on this domain, blah, 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 this and that. So that is how to use SEMrush to determine the quality of the link and prioritize our link building, especially guest posting effort.